Hi guys, good evening. My name is Folajomi, and today we have something quite sublime. And when you think of first-class British engineering, you're thinking Rolls-Royce, Bentley, and today we have the joy of introducing the 2023 Range Rover Autobiography. This is in Hakuba Silver on a caraway brown interior, and in just a few moments we're going to take you through the key features of this luxury SUV. Here we go. So this is the 5th generation Autobiography, the first generation commencing in 1970. Range Rover has been synonymous for the last 5 decades for performance SUVs which offer high net worth individuals the opportunity to enjoy luxury and performance all wrapped in one. Now, this is a beautiful SUV which sits about 74 inches. That's about 6 feet 2 inches. Very similar in height to myself. This has ample clearance for off-road journeys, and this sits on 22-inch wheels. Now you can see, even though these are very large SUV wheels, these are also low profile, and we would expect that this car does 0 to 60 in just 4.6 seconds. Quite dizzying numbers considering this car weighs nearly 3 tons. Now, the 2023 model was actually unveiled at the Royal Opera House in London by Jaguar Land Rover's Chief Creative Officer, Jerry McGovern, just 2 years ago, and that marks the commencement of this 5th generation, which is the most expensive Range Rover we have had yet to date. So now, as we take a stroll across the frontage of this car, we have a beautiful grille, very soft but aesthetically pleasing smart LED lights. We also pay close attention to the bumper. We have a very nice mix of the Hakuba Silver and the matte black grey front grille and lower bumper grille as well. This specifically is the P530. This is the 4.4 litre V8 monster, producing 523 horsepower and well over 500 pounds-feet of torque. So this car also has phenomenal braking performance as well, which is very, very important for safety, considering just the sheer power that this car will give you when you're behind the steering wheel. If you pay attention to the aesthetic features of the vehicle, this is a long wheelbase, so this vehicle comes with 3 rows of seating. We also have our black optic feel with the moonroof, and also the black optic feel of the side mirrors as well. And right towards the upper roof of the vehicle, you can see the 2 dorsal fin accentuations on the top of the vehicle, which really gives the car a much more aggressive and near menacing feel. I mean, this would probably look like a great white shark or a tiger shark just basking through the water, just being very, very aggressive looking, very intimidating. You can only see the dorsal fin, but you just have a sheer imagination of the girth or the weight of the monster that lies beneath the wave of the ocean. Now, this accentuation of the vehicle was intentional. We all know what we feel in terms of the prowess and the power of a great white shark or any large species of shark, and clearly these are the accentuations that the creative design team at Jaguar Land Rover were trying to achieve when they were working on the craft of this vehicle. In terms of getting in and out of the vehicle, you have touch sensors. I have the keys in my pocket, so just merely sliding in and pulling the doors towards myself with very little ease, I get in and out of the vehicle. So here we are at the rear of our 2023 Autobiography. Now, in terms of our rear lights, we have a very, very futuristic design. These are almost like sluices. They're very, very thin. They're not our traditional blocky rear lights. These are very, very thinly crafted and are very artistically placed, so you can imagine yourself on a late night drive just how beautiful and aesthetically pleasing these near thermal feel rear lights would look like. If we also pay close attention to the bumper here, we also have some additional accentuations, which also would be a nice safety feature as well, in case anybody parking near the vehicle wasn't aware of the bumper as well. We have our standard Range Rover badgery at the back of the vehicle on a nice black platform, which also enables the brand name of the vehicle to stand out relative to the body of the car. Now, to just take a quick look into the trunk. Now, this is the long wheelbase, so we have 3 rows of seating. We can see that our 3rd row is already up. We can just, for ease, pull up the headrest. The seating is actually ample for full-size adults throughout the vehicle, from the front to the 2nd row, and this has 7 seating spaces. This vehicle is a perfect vehicle for getaway trips for the whole family. So that's just the initial overview of the seating and the boot space. So here I am standing on the left side of the vehicle, and I have the key fob in my hand. So here we go, I'm locking the vehicle now. Now I can open the car in 2 ways, either with the key fob or with the sensors by each of the door handles. So I'm going to use the key fob now. So unlock, and we can see that our grip sensors put the key fob back in my pocket. And I'm into the vehicle. So here I am seated in this just sublime performance SUV. This is just a steering wheel that I've just never seen before. So this is on a caraway brown interior. Now, if you were actually in this vehicle and you could feel just how supple and how luxurious the leather in this vehicle is, you would really be blown away. Now, this doesn't actually feel like you're in a vehicle in terms of comfort. In terms of comfort, this feels like you're sitting in the best armchair or furnishing in your living room. And this is exactly what Jaguar Land Rover always go for with the Range Rover Autobiography. If we're to discuss the aesthetics of the car, here we have a steering wheel which also comes with the option of being heated. Now, this is Nigeria, this is a tropical environment, so heated steering wheel, maybe not a feature that would be such a key selling point, but nonetheless, we have lots of alloy inlays within the steering wheel. So we have beautiful metallic inlays within this beautifully crafted steering wheel, Range Rover titular embroidery, and also there's beautiful stitching within the median of this steering wheel as well. In terms of controls, you also have a control for the screens from here, the voice automation, and also your volume controls here to ensure that your concentration is always on the road. Now we have 2 screens. You have the dash, which obviously is electronic, completely electronic, which you would expect of a 2023 vehicle. And we also have our 13-inch infotainment screen. Now we're just gonna get this car started, just so you know what this has. So key fob here in the median, foot on the brake pedal, and push to start. So the engine is on. We have the air conditioning just oozing ventilation for my good self. Now, in terms of a quick overview of the interior, we can now pay close attention to the steering wheel, and we can see the lighting of all the different controls that you can manipulate from touches of buttons within the steering wheel itself. We have Range Rover's new modern 8-speed automatic gearbox. We have push to start right in the middle here. You also have adjusted suspension control and traction control depending on the particular surface and the feel of the drive that you're looking for. Air conditioning controls and also adjustment for the seats also below the infotainment screen. This car does come with 4-zone climate control. You have your hazard lights here. This is the main center point for the infotainment screen. You have navigation, different accounts because you're probably going to have different users for the car. Controls for the seats, climate control, cameras, obviously in terms of safety features, you're going to have blind spot assist, lane assist, park assist, and the rear camera, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, you know, for iPhone or Apple users like myself, valet mode, which is interesting. Now, this has been quite a mouthful just discussing all these features, and for a car that really retails, you know, $200,000 or above, you really would expect top of the line features and infotainment technology that any high net worth individual who would part with that volume of cash for this luxury SUV, you really must give them an outer worldly experience and something that they simply just can't get in any other luxury SUV. And to me, being a Range Rover fan myself, this is the ultimate SUV driving experience. So if you are a lover of sunroofs, which I am as well, apart from just the sheer statesmanship of this vehicle, you know, being the envy of your friends, we also have a much needed sunroof in this SUV, which, as much as it's such an allure during the day, just imagine going for a late night drive and throwing the sunroof back. So we're just going to give you a very quick run through. So the cover's going off now, and there we have it. So you have a nice natural ventilation coming into the car. If for any reason you take off your air conditioning, there we go, 4-zone climate control, and you want to enjoy the natural breeze, you always have that option. Now, if you can see the aerial display of the vehicle from the top, as I just shut the driver's side door, you can immediately see that the imagery corresponded with my action. Now, in terms of safety, this camera angle gives you all the peripheral information that you require. So at any point when you're stationary or the car's on the move, you're always aware of everything that's going on around the car. Now, this is one of Range Rover's most iconic features, the cooling box. We call it a fridge, but the correct term would be a cooling box, which they have boasted of for quite some time now. So I just pop this lever here, and if I place my hand here, now obviously you can't feel what I'm feeling, but this is a small cubby space which is probably big enough to fit in 3 or 4 cans of beverage of choice. And again, we have lovely leather stitching, which really keeps the car looking luxurious in and out. So here I am. Now, the head clearance is actually quite sublime, so I can almost put my full hand above my head, so even if you're well over 6 feet, which I am not, you will not struggle in terms of spacing in the car. We have hanging space if you wanted to take off your jacket and hang it so you have more comfort. We also have climate control for the second row of seating. This second row of seating would comfortably sit 3 people, 2 in the back, 7 in total. 4-zone climate control, driver, passenger, and the 2 passengers as well in the second row of seating. We also have individual pop-up screens, and as just at the tap of the button, the interface has already been engaged. So whether you wanted to listen to music, watch movies, connect up with your iPhone, really you have so much to play around with, and there's also wireless engagement as well. Now, we have a nice woody finish above the air vents here. We have these very, very beautifully crafted temperature sensors, which you can rotate forward or back, and the controls are controlled from the center. So just to give a little bit more detail, we are now taking a look at the rear side passenger door. I've never seen a door just this big. I mean, I'm gonna stand up so you can compare it to my physical size. I mean, just look at this. Now, if you look at the door and you look at the stitching, right? And this is just what British engineering and craftsmanship has been known for all over the last 50 years since this autobiography became such a standout success. Now, stitching runs beautifully all along the doorway. We have a lovely woody feel across the handle of the door. Nice new age handles here, which are very beautiful and also quite well tucked away. You actually have to pay close attention to even find them. We have controls for locking. We also have additional cubby safe, which actually has a really beautiful Velcro feel, which you can't feel, but I fortunately can. Really nice touches, and these are the soft touches that really add to the value of the vehicle and make it stand out amongst peers within its class. And just some added detail as well, very audaciously placed and large fuel tank cover. So just a light push and then we pop it open, nice and easy. You know, sometimes you have SUVs where you just simply can't find where the sensor or the impress is for the filling for the gas tank. So unfortunately, we have come to the end of this review. Just gonna close the door there. We have our walkaway locking function engaged nicely there. Now, this has been a review of the 2023 Range Rover Autobiography in Hakuba Silver on Caraway Brown interior. This is a 4.4 litre twin turbo engine that will do 0 to 60 in a dizzying 4.6 seconds. Now, if you actually sit in an SUV and you're going that fast, it is quite a surreal experience. People will always ask why a Range Rover is so expensive, but I really hope that in the detail we've captured in this review, you will understand just why the refinement, the finishing, the forward-looking engineering, and just the sheer details of all the stitching, of the leather, and the multiple functions you have within the infotainment, and just the luxury experience that anyone, whether you're sitting in the front driver's seat all the way back to the third row seat, feels whilst they're within this vehicle. This is Range Rover's arguably their most technologically advanced vehicle. It also has all the off-road potential that the earlier generations also possess, but it just comes in a much more audacious, much more avant-garde, much more luxurious, and ultimately this should be an extremely successful product line. Thank you for listening. This review was brought to you by Mayfair Autos.